So, imagine this. Your entire empire, music, fashion, business deals, all hanging by a single court motion. That's where Sean Diddy Combs is right now. His lawyers are standing in a Manhattan courtroom, basically saying, "Hey, judge, either erase those convictions or let us hit the reset button." And here's the kicker, the judge could actually do it. We're talking freedom versus retrial, acquittal versus collapse. Oh, and the reason the prosecution rolled their eyes so hard during the hearing? Yeah, you're gonna want to hear this. Welcome back to A Sip of Drama, where scandals wear designer suits, subpoenas come with bottle service, and yes, even billionaires beg judges for mercy. Today we're digging into Diddy's latest and maybe final Hail Mary, the motion his legal team argued on September 25th. The stakes? Everything. His reputation, his freedom, and those legendary parties that may never see another bad boy anthem. So grab your legal popcorn, smash that like button before the judge gavels in, and let's break this down. Legal tea first, drama second. Picture a high-rise courtroom in Manhattan, September 25th. Diddy's legal team walks in looking like they just stepped off a runway, carrying binders thick enough to break a table leg. Their mission? Convince the judge that the jury's decision was flawed, either by bad evidence, biased testimony, or straight-up legal error. This isn't your average appeal. This is the motion for acquittal. Courtroom code for, "Your Honor, scrap it, this trial was trash." If that doesn't land, Plan B is just as bold. Fine, then give us a new trial. Basically, they're saying, reset the board, deal the cards again. And trust me, this motion is Diddy's last shot before things get very, very permanent. But just wait until you hear what loophole his lawyers tried to slide through the cracks. Here's the deal. Motions for acquittal are like asking your teacher to tear up your failing exam because the test was unfair. Bold move, rarely works. But Diddy's lawyers? They're leaning in hard. Their pitch, the prosecution's evidence didn't meet the legal standard of beyond a reasonable doubt. Translation, sure, he looks guilty, but can you really prove it? And if you think that sounds desperate, well, it is. But it's also exactly how big money defense teams play. If you thought that was their boldest play, Act 3 will make you go, did they really just argue that? Diddy's attorneys pulled out their second weapon, errors. They're basically pointing at the first trial and saying, look at this circus. The judge allowed stuff that should have been tossed, witnesses were shady, and the jury got confused. Think of it like calling for a rematch because the referee was asleep. The defense even hinted that some testimony was more gossip than fact, which, if true, could mean the jury made decisions based on drama, not law. But while the defense tried to paint the trial as a circus, the prosecution came in swinging, and their clapback was brutal. While Diddy's lawyers were building castles in the air, prosecutors showed up with sledgehammers. Their response? Nice try, but no. They argued the evidence was strong, the trial was fair, and the jury did its job. Basically, don't insult us, Your Honor. And apparently, at one point, the prosecutor rolled their eyes so hard the gallery chuckled. Imagine being the defense, pouring your soul out, and the other side is like, cute story, but we're keeping the receipts. But here's the thing. The judge wasn't just a silent spectator. Their reactions could decide everything. See, in motions like this, the judge has incredible power. They don't need a new jury. They don't need another trial. One gavel strike, and Diddy could walk out with his convictions erased. But judges are careful. They don't like overturning juries unless there's a glaring mistake. It's like telling an entire courtroom full of people, yeah, thanks for your service, but you blew it. So, what's this judge thinking? Word from insiders is that they were very engaged in the September 25th hearing, asking sharp questions, pressing both sides, almost like they were testing how far the arguments could go. That alone is enough to keep Diddy sweating until October 3rd. And hey, while Diddy's sweating bullets, you can sweat absolutely nothing by tapping that like button. Seriously, it's the only motion guaranteed to be granted in this courtroom. Smash like, subscribe, and consider it your civic duty to gossip. Because next, we're diving into what's really on the line for Diddy. And trust me, it's way bigger than just a sentence. Let's pause for a second. Because this isn't just about one courtroom drama. If Diddy loses this motion, his convictions stand. That means sentencing looms. And with it, the possibility of real prison time. We're talking a career that helped define hip-hop. The Bad Boy Records empire, the Ciroc deals, the legacy of a cultural mogul, all of it hanging by a legal thread. And don't forget, public opinion is brutal. Social media has been ripping him apart since the charges. One more loss, and the Diddy untouchable brand may never recover. But what happens if he actually wins? That's where things get really wild. Here's the fun what if. If the judge grants an acquittal, the case is over, done. No retrial, no sentencing, nothing. Diddy would walk out like, "See? Told you I was innocent?" Of course, the prosecution could appeal, but let's be real. The headlines would already crown him victorious. And in Hollywood, perception is everything. One ruling, and Diddy could go from finished to legend who beat the system. But hold your applause, because the more likely outcome is not as glamorous. If the judge doesn't grant acquittal but does allow a new trial, oh boy, that means replaying every messy detail, new witnesses, new evidence battles, more gossip splashed across TMZ'd. And this time, the prosecution will know exactly how the defense plays. It's like poker when everyone's already seen your hand. Plus, retrials are expensive, even for someone with Diddy's bankroll. We're talking millions more in legal fees, PR cleanup, and the toll of having your personal life dissected all over again. Which brings us to the date everyone's waiting for, and why October 3rd might be the most nerve-wracking day of Diddy's life. Here's where the suspense peaks. The judge hasn't ruled yet. That decision comes October 3rd. That's the day we'll know whether Diddy walks, retries, or faces sentencing. And if you think the media circus has been loud already, just wait. Every legal blogger, every entertainment site, every gossip account is circling that date in neon. For Diddy, October 3rd is Judgment Day, and no amount of champagne can soften that blow. And when that gavel finally drops, one thing's for sure, his legacy will never be the same. So, what's really happening here? On paper, it's just emotion, a boring, procedural thing. But in reality, it's the make-or-break moment for one of the biggest names in music. If the judge says yes, Diddy rewrites his story. If no, he could be remembered not for mo money, mo problems, but for courtroom defeats and a legacy clouded by scandal. And that's the wild irony. Diddy built his career on being can't stop, won't stop. But the justice system, it can stop anyone. So here's the question. Do you think the judge will give Diddy a miracle? Or is this motion just legal theater before the hammer drops? Drop your verdict in the comments. Team acquittal or team retrial? And hey, if you want front row seats to the wildest courtroom drama in Hollywood, you know what to do. Subscribe, hit that like button, and keep your notifications on. Because October 3rd is coming fast, and trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Until then, this is A Sip of Drama, signing off with one last reminder. In the court of law, even the biggest stars can't outshine the gavel.